Hey guys, today I'll be explaining the Analects of Confucius 2.23 and without further ado, let's get started. 2.23. John asked, "Can we know what it will be like 10 generations from now?" The master responded, "The Ying follow the rituals of the Xia, altering them only in ways that we know. The Zhou follow the rituals of the Ying, altering them only in ways that we know. If some dynasty succeeds the Zhou, we can know what it will be like even 100 generations from now." So basically what Confucius is talking about is that in Chinese history, the government has always been built on, not on top, but literally on this structure or this format. And it's been like that for 2,000 or 3,000 years. And if there was anything that the dynasties modified, then it would have been just confined in a single stable frame. And a downside to China's system is that for the past 2,000 or 3,000 years, China's political system has remained mostly unchanged until the arrival of socialism. But that was literally only a century ago. And so the downside is that there's not a lot of change and progression, unlike Western societies, and government systems are almost always centered on individuals. I'm talking about modern Western systems here, but in more like medieval to pre-revolution times, Western society or just the social hierarchy was always based on the church. And that's one more thing that I would love to talk about, is the idea of a god or idea of Christianity. And for example, the Chinese didn't have that. They did have the concept of heaven, or just sky, if you want to translate it literally. And no, they didn't have any ideas of if you die, then you go to heaven or something like that, or even the concept that there is a god. Buddhism doesn't really count because actually it's just a philosophy and there's not supposed to be any worship, but people do it anyway. So the Chinese never had a problem with the church being the top of the social hierarchy, so they never had to question the church, and so they never had to fight for people's undeniable and unalienable rights. And so Western societies have had a clear evolutionary path throughout the centuries, the decades. And another major difference is that during the times of the American Revolution, maybe the English Civil War, and the French Revolution, the Western government was usually questioned by the Enlightenment thinkers who reformed the government and proposed ideas on how to make it better in terms of, again, giving more freedom to the people, and hence modern-day democracy, which was borrowed and expanded from the Greeks. While the Chinese are almost afraid or just more hesitant to make changes to something that they already thought was good and was proven over the ages to be good. And so they always built a little bit on top of the good example, the template, if they ever made changes at all. And another major thing that I would like to touch on is that the Chinese have had a really long time to think about what it means to be a good person. I'm not saying that the West has not, but the East has more focused on psychology and what it means to be a good person, while Western philosophies would more focus on politics or whether or not there is a god. And because most people accept that the way is the way to live, and everything else that has been proven right throughout history, they are more likely to not question the right way to govern, and so they never had revolutions until not very long ago. But Western people are the least likely to accept being confined inside a rigid format for thousands of years. And so, to sum it all up, this passage talks about how each dynasty is basically the same because of their shared foundation that they build on top of. While Western history is more fast-paced, focusing on government reforms or revolutions or anything of the sort to preserve one's individual rights. And that will be all today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me and I'll be more than happy to answer you. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.